because I promised it last week, and here it is. The Jaguars' schedule is going to come out on Wednesday of this week, so here's my swing at what I think it just might look like. Look, we talked a little bit about it last week. The Jaguars do have a pretty tough schedule, even if the numbers say it's not that tough. This is a tough schedule. Look, the Jaguars have struggled on the West Coast, and there are going to be some complications here. But here's how I put it all together. This is just a swing in the dark. We'll see what happens on Wednesday when the schedule comes out, but here's my swing in the dark. I think you started off at Arizona, and then you get a trip to Tennessee. Thursday night football in week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's a game I'd like to see, Thursday night football, if the Jaguars can kind of get this thing rolling. You get that game against the Chargers, another one against the Texans, the Seahawks in week 6, London game against the Rams. So the Liam Cohen, James Gladstone game against the Rams, that one happens in week 7. Now, I put the bye week after the London game. So the previous group didn't like to have the bye week after those London games. Doug Peterson and company like to save it and try and push it as late into the season as possible. I'm not sure where Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli fall on that, but the prevailing logic around the league is most teams put their bye week after that London game. Right now, I'm going to say they're going to do the same and put it right after that London game. Now, this is the fun part. I think I'm going to call this the Travis Hunter effect. Week 9, going back to the state of Colorado, take on the Denver Broncos. I got them listed for Monday Night Football. How about a primetime game, Travis Hunter's rookie season? I think the world is going to want to see Travis Hunter, and I think they're going to get at least one primetime game. Now, in my layout, Jaguars aren't lucky enough to land that primetime game at the bank, but that would be better, right? They could have at least one at the bank. Look, I love me a good night game at the bank with Jaguars fans. Those get crazy. So then we go to the back half of the season. Weeks 10, I got them going against the Jets, 11 against the Bengals, Colts there in week 12, Panthers in 13. This week 14-15 swing, this one would be tough since it's at San Francisco and then at Las Vegas. Wouldn't be surprised if it fell like this, if the Jaguars opted to do something wonky like stay on the West Coast instead of coming all the way back to Jacksonville. Then you got the Titans, the Colts, and then the Texans to wrap things up. So a little AFC South run to wrap things up, and then I feel pretty good. Like, if you ask me one game that I feel the best about, that Week 18 against the Texans, I feel really good about that one falling that way because I feel like the NFL schedule makers, they love to line it up with an AFC South game to wrap it all up, especially one that they think could be for all the marbles. And if you look at the AFC South right now, it could very well come down to Week 18 with the Jaguars and Texans if everything goes basically as people expect it to go. So we'll see how it happens. Again, the NFL schedule is going to come out on Wednesday. So we're going to stream live here on News4Jags.com, and we'll have plenty of coverage coming your way Wednesday night during our newscast, but we'll roll out the schedule live on News4Jags.com, and then we'll give you our way too early Jaguars record prediction. As I kind of look at this, if it fell this way, this is kind of fortunate for the Jaguars. Not a whole, I'm trying to see, no. I mean, maybe week 11, maybe one cold weather game against the Bengals, but overall, I'd say this is a pretty fortunate schedule. I'm feeling 9 wins-ish. 9 wins-ish looking at it. But we'll see how I feel on Wednesday night. I'll give you my first one, and I typically stand on that one. So we'll see how that all comes together. If you want Jaguars coverage, make sure you're checking out that News4Jags podcast. New episodes come out all the time. Justin and I actually did one on the field after rookie mini camp on Saturday. If you haven't watched that, it's definitely worth the watch because we give you a little bit of our instant reaction to what we saw out there on the field. So look, you can track down that podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. It's also over on YouTube, but you can also track it down over on News4Jags.com if you click on that handy-dandy sports page. Wherever you get it from, just make sure you subscribe while you're there.